103. Hakodech kol shu chayiv. If you make a hole, you're chayiv mishum bona. Bishul Rav mechse kamandachar chorta levinyana. So that's like you make a window, and I understand why it's considered binyan. You make holes in structures. El Shmuel. Now remember, Shmuel said kodech is you're not chayiv for binyan, you're chayiv for makeh b'patish. Well, El Shmuel lav gmar malacha. You make a hole, you just got to fill it with something. So the hole itself is not in makeh b'patish. So and for the Gemara hachal mayaskinon de bezai beramsa de parzula. You put a nail in there. And you don't want to remove the nail. That just making the space is not boneh. But if you put a nail to fill it up, so that would be a gemar malacha. Or you put a nail to hang something on. For example, if you pound a nail into the wall, and then you hang your coat there, so that would be gemar malacha, and that it certainly would qualify for makeh b'patish. Zeh klal. Whenever it says zeh klal, oh, this is the general principle. What do I need that for? It usually comes to teach me another halacha. Lasuyi the chak fiza bekabo. That you had, let's say, a block of wood that you could have carved it out to a certain amount, a certain volume, and you carved out less volume than you planned, or that block could hold. It's still considered a malacha, and it's bar malacha. Rav Shimon Gamliel Omer, a makeh b'kornis ala sadin. If you banged an anvil with a hammer, it's called makeh b'patish. Freik the Gemara, my oven. What kind of malacha did you do? Rav Yezreel, you know what? He's exercising. He's practicing for when he really has to hit a piece of metal or a coin or whatever they hacked on the anvil. He's practicing. Let's say you watch somebody to do a certain act and you learn how to do it. What do you mean? So just training for something, that's not a malacha. The people in the Mishkan would hammer very fine metal because they had to coat the crushim with this fine metal. So just hacking the metal, that would be makeh b'patish. The people who, so by the way, when the metal worker hammers the hammer on the anvil, he also smooths the hammer. So when he eventually is going to strike a coin, or let's say some gold foil that you want to make really thin, by having a smooth hammer, that'll allow the hammer to work better when you strike things. So that's what you accomplished when you hit it on the anvil. It is, and that's why you're chayav for makeh b'patish. Mishnah. Achleirish, you plow kolshu. The shear is any amount. Amenachesh, which is you pluck out weeds. V'hamakarsem, you pull out old leaves. V'amazare, you have some blossoms that also have to be cut away to make the tree healthy. Chayiv. So these are all cases you'd be chayiv for tlisha. or for Natiya. The Gemara will tell us what you're chayiv for. Hamalakid eitzim, if you gather wood, so it depends. If you're removing old wooden branches from a tree, im letakein, then kol shehin, any amount that you remove, you're going to be chayiv. Im lahesek, but if you're gathering wood to light a fire, it's kedei levashel beitz hakala. You need to pluck enough wood to cook a hen's egg. Lakid asavim, if you pluck grasses from the ground, im l'sakein, if the purpose of it is to help the ground grow better, so you're chayiv even kosher. But if you're gathering grass to feed an animal, in lebeima kimlo piagdi, you have to gather an amount that would fill the mouth of a goat. So what the Gemara, when the Mishnah said achoirish kolshu l'may chazi, for what purpose would you, if you put a little hole in the ground, what is that good for? Chazi lebizer dekara, like even one pumpkin seed could be planted there. The various dyers, the ones who dyed the curtains, would plant even one seed of a certain dye, indigo or whatever they were planting to make the dye. And then we said amanakesh from akarsem b'mizar ton rabon hatoilish ulshin are endives. So if you pluck endives, v'amizaret zrodim, or you pluck these other weeds or grasses.
Reeds.
Huh?
It says reeds.
Weeds or reeds?
Reeds. R-E-E-D-S.
Okay. So if imlachila, if it's for human consumption, the shear of how much you have to pluck to be chayiv is kigroigris. Im lebehema, if you're going to feed an animal with it, kimole piagdi, it's a mouth of a goat. Im lahesek, if you're plucking these to light a fire, kidei levashel beitz hakala. Im liyafos sakarka, if you're plucking away weeds to make the ground grow better, kol shein any amount. All these other ones, when you pluck them even for food, you're also improving the ground. So in a lake or in a pond where there's no ground, you don't have to. There's no improvement there. You can answer that you're talking about a field. He's not having kavana to be miyapa the karka. His kavana is, so there. What if you're miyapa the karka? You'd be over for natiya, for planting. But we're saying you had no kavana to improve the ground, so you'd only be chayiv for the plucking, for the klisha. Now we've already learned that in Rab Shimon's concept of dover shein miskavein, doing something like kavana, that if what you do is going to happen 100% of the time, even Rab Shimon doesn't permit. So here, it's always going to happen, right? When you pluck, if you cut away wood from a tree for fuel purposes, you can't help that it's going to help the tree grow. It's a psik reisha. But by Rab Shimon, psik reisha v'lo yamus. Psik reisha v'lo yamus means, like, I am cutting off the head of this chicken because I want the blood to fertilize my plants. What about the fact that you're killing the animal? I had no kavanah for that. Well, cutting off the head of the chicken, the animal's going to die 100% of the time. So Reb Shimon, that's psik reisha v'lo yamus. You're going to cut off its head and it's not dying. So even Reb Shimon will agree to such a case. So why over here can you get away with the lo miskave? So this is you didn't do it in your own ground. You plucked wood from your neighbor's ground. So even though, so we have now a new principle that a dover she'ein miskave, even if it's a psik reisha, if you don't benefit from it, it's okay. If your friend benefited, but since you didn't benefit, there's no to'elet for him, you would not be chayiv for that kind of malacha. So that's a new concept that we haven't had so far, that davar shem miskavin, even a psik ratio, would be permitted if you're not permitted, you're not chayiv if you did it to benefit your friend. Mishnah. Hakosev shtei oisiyos. Somebody writes two letters, bein b'yamino, bein b'smolo, whether your right hand or your left hand, bein mishem echad, bein mishtei shemos, whether it's one letter, let gimel, God, right? Even if it's the same, it doesn't have to be two different letters. It could be two different letters, or even two letters, even if the same letter. And we'll see, does it have to make a real word or not? Bein mishtei samonios. A sama is a simon. It's just it's a design, but you make two of them. B'chol lashon, any language, chayiv. On Rabbi Yossi, lo yichivu shtei oisiyos ele mishum rosha. The fact that the Mishnah said you're prohibited to write two letters, it's lav dafka letters. It's any kind of simon. Shekach koisven al karshi hamishkan leido ez ben zuko. They kept track. They would write on the side of the boards of the Mishkan, Aleph, Beis, Gimel. So when they assembled it, they knew how to assemble it. But it didn't have to be a letter. It could be any kind of mark. That's what Rabbi Yossi is adding here. It doesn't even have to be writing. Even some kind of design. Rashi says, Shnei Rishios Ba'alma. Any, like, even a Chinese character. Well, that's b'cholosh. Even if it's not a letter, circle, some kind of simon. Amir idam atzinu shem kot mishem god. Rabbi Yehuda is adding that if I want to write the word Shimon and I end up writing Shin Mem, I'm also chayiv. I didn't finish my malacha because I wanted to write a bigger word. I wrote a smaller word. Since the smaller word is a davar miskayemes, right? It's a word chayiv, like Noach minochor, Don mi Daniel, Gad mi Gadiel, Shemi Shimon mishmuel, right? But if it doesn't mean anything, like two letters that don't, it's not Noach, but let's say you write Yehuda Yud Hey, well that has a letter. But let's say me'achas, and you write mem aleph. Mem aleph is not a word; doesn't stand alone. So the Gemara says, "Bishlama ayamin lechayiv." I understand why you prohibit the right hand. Mishum derech ksiva b'kaf. People are right-handed, write with their right hand. Ela small amai, ein derech ksiva b'kaf. A right-handed person writes with his left hand. Why isn't that considered kilach yad? Amrav yinu be'itri yad shanu. And a chanami, we're talking about a left-handed person. And a right-handed person, l'chura, it's not osam in Torah to write with your left hand. It's an osam midrabanan. It's a gzeir midrabanan that you'll come to write with your right hand. But it's not osam min Torah. If you write with your left hand, and the Mishnah said it's also, that's talking about a lefty. Small diday ki yamin b'kula alma. Well, why don't we say that a left-hander would be that he's chayiv for his left hand and potter for his right hand? And l'chora, that would be the halacha. Our mission is talking about somebody who is ambidextrous. So then, if you're chayiv for you writing with your right hand or writing with your left. Rav Yaakov, Rav Yaakov, Amar Hamani, Rav Yossi. Listen, with your left hand, you might not be able to write well a letter, but you can write a mark. And according to Rav Yossi, we only need a mark. That's why you're chayiv for both the right and the left. Afraid the Gemara Vabed is safer Rav Yossi, Reisha Lav Rav Yossi. How can you tell me the Reisha is Rav Yossi? The Sefer opened up with Rav Yossi. The Gemara says Kula Rav Yossi. And The Seif of the Mishnah explains what he meant in the Reisha. The Rambam says that a kosev befiv, if you write with your mouth or the back of your hand, obiat small potter. But a left-hander, iter chayiv b'smolo upotter b'mino. A left-hander is potter with his right hand. And somebody who's ambidextrous, chayiv gam b'yad yamino gam b'yad small. And of course, it's also to write with your left hand. It's just you don't get. It's not a chiyuv d'oraisa. On Rav Yehuda Matzinu, Rav Yehuda said, "Shem mishmuel." Ela Rav Yehuda shtei osiyos vein shnei shemos sudim chayiv. Shtei osiyos vein shem echad lo mechayiv. What does Rav Yehuda feel that it has to be two different letters? Because all the examples that Rav Yehuda gave us are two different letters, not two of the same letter. Batanya, I'm going to prove to you that Rav Yehuda holds even if you write two letters, the same letters, you'll be chayiv. It says v'asa achat mehena. The pasuk says, there's a pasuk in Vayikra, v'aseh achat mikol mitzvos Hashem elokav asher lo ta'asena b'shgaga v'ashem. So we darshan. V'asa achat yacholat sheyichtav kol Hashem. So let's say I intended to write the word Shimon, and I stopped after writing two letters. Or I wanted to weave a whole garment, or a tablecloth. And I ended up only making half of the garment, or I only wrote two letters of it. So Talmud Lomer Me'achas, even if I didn't finish the whole thing, I only did part of it, I'm going to be chayiv. Well, from me'achas, which seems to imply I can do less than the full malacha, why shouldn't I be chayiv even if I only wrote one letter? Or v'lo orag elachut echad, right? We know that there's certain shiurim for how much you have to weave. Well, why? If from the word me'achas, it should be any weaving. Or you only wove one stitch. Talmud loimer achas, because it's got to have a malacha shleima b'makom echad. Well, how do you fulfill this? Haketza. Eino chai bat sheyichtov shem kot mishem gad. Shem mishimon umishmuel noach minocher da midoniel gad migadiel. That's the Tanakh. So you have to have an independent standalone thing. So Shem stands alone. And by a beged shnei chutim, or by a nafesh shnei batim, they are makayim. Because a person's not going to just weave one beged, one line or one thing. It's got to have a kiyum. So Rabbi Yehuda Omer, afilu lo kosev el shtei oisios vein shem echad chayiv. You don't have to have two different letters. It could be even the same letter. It could go on sheish, tate, rar, gag, chach. Right? These are all words made up of the same letter. So it doesn't have to be two different letters. So it adds a chiddush to us. It's not much different, Shemi Shimon, but even if it's a word which ends up, you only write two letters of the same letter. And certainly if I had kavanah lechatchila to write that, but even if I wrote it from a larger word, like sheish mishesh batzar, or tate mitatro, means it's not just in the case where I had kavanah for a larger word and I wrote a smaller word. Certainly, if I had kavanah for the smaller word, I would also be chayiv. Has nothing to do with writing. It's making a mark. Can Rosh Malkar Mishkan later Ezehu Zeb Ben Zugo. Rabbi Yossi says, listen, we learned this all out from the Mishkan, where there was marks, how to put together the boards. If you wrote one mark, but you wrote it on two boards, or two marks on one board, so it doesn't have to be a letter. And the Gemara will explain Reb Shimon Shita later on as well. Reb Shimon Oimer, he learns this pasuk differently. L'chora. Even part of it. How do you fulfill that? It's got to be miskayim. Well, gentlemen, doesn't that sound exactly like the Tanakama? So the Gemara is going to ask that. Hainu Tanakama. Rabbi Yossi Omer va'asa achas va'asa heina. Pam shechayv achas al kulan. Sometimes you chayv one chatas for many malachos. Upam shechayv al kol achas v'achas. So he says there's another drasha to the, because remember Rabbi Yossi didn't learn anything from va'asa achas. He said there's rosh. All you need is rishimos. So ktani mia. Whatever you want to say from this parasha we quoted, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, you were medayik from our Mishnah that Rabbi Yehuda is only going to be chayiv if you wrote two different letters. From the parasha we just quoted, you're chayiv even if you write two letters the same one. Lo kasha depends. What is his shita versus what is his Rebbe's shita? Where do we see this? The Tanya. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Mishum Rabban Gamliel. Afilo Kosev El Shtei Osif Ein Shemechad Chayiv. One Sheish Tate Rad Gag Chach. But that's his Rebbe, Rabban Gamliel. Our Mishnah, who quoted only Rabbi Yehuda, was that you have to have two different letters. Okay. Now the Gemara is going to ask the question we anticipated. Rabbi Shimon Ainu Tanakama. It seemed like Rabbi Shimon in the Sefer was exactly Tanakama. Tema Aleph the Azraka Ikibinayu. You have a word Azraka, and you're going to write only Aleph. The Tanakama are Aleph Azraka Lo Machai, because the Tanakama gave us an example of only Shemi Shimon, Noach Minocha Damid, which are different words. Rabbi Shimon didn't say that. Rabbi Shimon just said Malacha Shekayotza Miskayemes. And this will also be miskayim. Rabbi Shimon Sarakiv the Issa Begal Turi Ba'al Machayev. Sometimes in a kameya, when you make an amulet, they will write Aleph Aleph or Beis Beis. So he says it has a kiyum. It doesn't have to be a word that we use, but if an amulet writer uses it, you see it has usage. So that might be the nafkamina between the Tanakam and Rabbi Shimon. So the Meimed Rabbi Shimon l'chumra. Well, if the Chachamim say you're not chayiv if you write Aleph Aleph, and Rabbi Shimon says certainly you're chayiv if you write Shem Mishima, but you're also chayiv if you write Aleph Aleph, which is not a normal word. So Rabbi Shimon is machmir. But Vatanya, I'll show you, it's not machmir. Hakodeach, if you make a hole in something, even though, no matter how big it is, chayiv. Hamigarer, you scrape kolshu, the shear is kolshu. Hamiabed, if you tan leather, kolshu. Hatzarbich litzura kolshu. If you make some kind of design in a kli, it's any design. Rabbi Shimon Omer, yigdach es kulo, you have to design the whole thing. But no, you have to make a hole in the whole item. You have to scrape the whole thing. So how can you tell me Reb Shimon here is more machmir? We see over there Reb Shimon is mekel. Ella, Reb Shimon ha'asal hashmina. What is Reb Shimon coming to teach us? Ad sheyichtov es Hashem kulo. That means if you had kavana to scrape away something or to tan something, you got to do it in one shot. But Rabbi Shimon didn't say it about that. Rabbi Shimon Oimer, so Rabbi Shimon clearly said that even if you wrote part of the word, you're going to be chayiv. So what are you trying to tell me, that you got to write the whole thing? So tritz ve'emach, you have to ve'emfer yachol ad sheyichtav as a pasuk kulo. You might think that you have to write a whole pasuk, not just a whole word. Talmud lomer me'achas, even one word of the pasuk. So in a chanami, Rabbi Shimon says you have to have, if you end up having to write a whole the achas and the mehena is a pasuk versus one word of the pasuk. Then Rabbi Yosi Oimer, v'aseh achas v'aseh hena, pamim shechai v'achas akuna, pamim shechai v'kol achas v'achas. That has to do with how many chatases you bring for what you violate. On Rabbi Yisrael, my time Rabbi Yosi. Achas me'achas hena mehena. Achas shehi hena, sometimes be achas shehi hena, and sometimes hena shehi achas. Achas Shimon me'achas shemi Shimon. Hena means there are sometimes avois, and mehena is toldos. And if you do many toldos, even if there is some category of avois, you'd only bring one chatas for all of it. Achas sheyena means zodin Shabbos for shigos malachos. I know that today is Shabbos, but I didn't know all these malachos were aser. So there I bring multiple chatos. But hena sheyachas, sometimes I only bring one korban. Shigos Shabbos, I know the malachos are aser. I did them. I just didn't know today was Shabbos, then I bring one korban for everything. On Ravida Matzinu Shem Kotten Mishem Gadol. Like we wrote Shem Mishima. But I understand, says the Gemara. Mi Dami, Mem de Shem Sosu, Mem de Shimon Patuach. When you write Shimon, Shin Mem. But when you write Shem, it's Shin Mem Sofit. So it's not that you didn't accomplish what you wanted to do. Amar Chiz is also meres. Sosum vaso pasuach kosher. When I write a sefer Torah, and if I write a mem sofit instead of a mem, it's not considered a pagam. Freit the Gemara, it's not so. Meisvei. It says uchsavtam mezuzos beisachol visharecha. Shetei ksiva tama. It has to be a perfect writing. Shelo yichtov alfin einin. You shouldn't confuse an aleph or an ayin, or einin alfin, or vice versa. Beis with a kaf, or kaf with a beis. Gimel with a tzadi, tzadi with a gimel. Dalet with a reish, reish with a dalet. Hey with a chet, chet with a hey. Vav with a yud, or yud with a vav. Zayin with a nun, or nun with a zayin. Tes with a pei, or pei with a tes. Kfufin pshutim, right? Like a chaf sofit, which is long, versus a regular chaf. Pshutim kfufin. Memim samachim. You shouldn't confuse mem with samach or samach with mem. Stumim psuchin. If a regular mem is supposed to be written, you should not write a mem sofit, which is a sosu, and vice versa. Psuchim stumim. Parsha psucha lo yasen stuma. If it's supposed to be a 9-space separation between parshios, which is psucha, lo yasen stuma, you shouldn't make a three-letter separation. Stuma lo yasa psucha. And if, for example, ksava kashira, like az yashir is a riach al gabi levena. It's written, with spaces. Oshakav zashir kayotzva, you wrote a regular shir. Oshakav shalom b'dio, you didn't write with ink. Oshakav zazakars, you wrote the names of Hashem in gold. Hare elu, you got to bury these Sifrei Torah. How can you tell me that if you write a mem sofit instead of a mem, it's okay? So who domer ki aitan? The time we read Sarah Oimer. Nemer basheni, when it writes the korbanos that we brought on Sukkot, it says v'niskehem, Instead is viniska. And then it says bashishi, it says unsacheha instead of viniska. So we have an extra mem so far. We have an extra hey, extra yud so far. And b'shvi it says kamishpatam, which is also an extra mem. Sorry, hare mem yud mem mayim. Mikan remez lenisuch mayim in Torah. How do we know that on Sukkot we pour water instead of wine, or as well as wine? This is the remez. Umide patuach. That's how sosum kosher. Now here, you took the extra word, viniskehem, which is a mem sofit. You turn it into a regular mem to write the word mayim, or vice versa. Sosum nami, sosum azubazul kosher. Gemara says no compare. Midami pasuach sosum. You took a regular mem and made it a sosum. Aloi kamalele. The words that were sosum are a higher level. And we'll continue tomorrow with this concept. Tomorrow will be regular time, 8 o'clock. Kuf Dal.